Good afternoon. My name is Rob DeClerc, and today I'll be presenting my Level 2 Capstone project on athlete Emma Rodriguez, a 16-year-old aspiring junior elite triathlete. My presentation will walk through Emma's strengths and limitations, her goals and challenges, my coaching focus areas, the annual and long-term planning approach, a detailed meso and microcycle, and finally a sample daily session. I'll close today with some key takeaways and critical success factors. Let's begin. Emma comes to us as a high school junior with Olympic dreams. She has an exceptional swim background, already a state champion with strong technique and aerobic fitness. Second, she's a naturally talented runner, which gives her high potential if managed carefully. Third, at just 16 years old, she's at an age of rapid development with time to build progressively. And finally, she's a disciplined student with a 3.7 GPA, showing resilience and the ability to balance multiple demands. She has the opportunity to build on her performance, establish greater confidence, and further develop her skills in the sport. As far as limitations are concerned, however, Emma has a few notable challenges, namely with a history of tibial stress fractures and is currently managing shin splints, which makes run training a high risk for her. Her cycling experience is limited, in part due to lacking access to proper equipment. Financial constraints from her single parent household limit her abilities to invest in coaching or other resources. And of course, she faces the common challenge of balancing academics with training. These factors will strongly shape my coaching approach, but this information allows us to build a solid risk management and mitigation plan, prioritizing resources and setting realistic goals and expectations. This will be accomplished through an initial athlete assessment that will enlighten both Emma and myself to the bigger picture and get us to the on the road where she wants to go. Setting goals. Emma's long-term goals are ambitious, and that's fantastic. I love to hear that. She hopes to earn an NCAA Division I scholarship and eventually race in the World Triathlon Series. For the next 12 months, I propose a few SMART goals to help her achieve that. The first idea therein is that she's going to have some process goals. So we're going to build on a consistent injury-free running foundation, increasing volume by no more than 10% per 4-week training block. The outcome goal for her is that she qualifies for Junior Elite Nationals for next August 2026. There are potential conflicts here. Her high goals do clash with her injury history, and she does have limited resources. She has some major sticking points, which include running injuries, academic pressure, lack of equipment, and limited access to sports medicine. My contingency strategy, though, is that she emphasizes cross training and we creatively use resources like school facilities and community programs, and we explore scholarship or grant opportunities to bridge some of the financial gaps. From this assessment, I've identified three priority coaching areas. The first, run durability and injury prevention. The goal here is to keep Emma healthy by carefully managing her training load, utilizing strength training, and integrating cross training like swimming into active recovery. Cycling development is the second coaching focus area. Since she's underdeveloped here, it'll be important to build an aerobic strength and technical bike handling skills, which will be key to making her competitive in this segment, especially if she goes draft legal. Third, and probably the most important priority, in my opinion, is building a holistic support system. This includes engaging her family, leveraging her school swim coach and other athletic department and resources, as well as community programming to ensure she has a mental, emotional, and academic balance that will help make her successful. We will utilize all the available resources we can get our hands on, like free versions of Training Peaks. We will systematically build on the strengths while working through her limiters with progressive load monitoring and active recovery. These priorities reflect my coaching philosophy. That is, long-term athlete development, athlete-centered planning, and creative problem solving when resources are limited. Long-term planning. We're zooming out to look at the year ahead with a 12-month macro cycle, which includes 4 phases. The first, the preparation phase, will heavily focus on swim and bike while keeping run volume extremely light. The base phase will come next and will gradually reintroduce running with a strong emphasis on strength and durability. The build phase then will integrate more brick sessions, and also develop more race-specific endurance. Then finally, as we get closer to junior nationals, we will work on that tapering. As far as benchmarks are concerned, some key benchmarks we've identified include doing some local triathlons to get that experience under our belt, hitting up the regional qualifier, and then finally qualifying and competing at the junior nationals. Looking longer term, however, over 2 to 3 years, the aim is to steadily increase the run progression without re-injury, and also focus on NCAA recruitment visibility, and then, of course, international junior elite racing as she matures into an elite contender. We built out Emma's 12-month macro cycle using Training Peaks, creating a comprehensive annual training plan, otherwise known as ATP, for us that will guide the year from top-down perspective. Our annual volume right now is projected to be about 450-ish hours, and it also offers us the minimum and maximum time any given week as the weeks progress throughout the year. Her sport distribution right now will vary weekly and by mesocycle. Generally speaking, it will be a 45% time swimming, 35% time biking, 20% time running. This is not as typical as I see with other athletes. However, it's intentional. It's intentionally limiting the run to reduce that risk of injury while building on the bike strength. So in due course, the bike time will steadily switch with the swimming time in terms of percentage. Key races entered. We have yet to identify any local spring races. However, that and any regional junior qualifier will be added to the ATP and further help us align with the rest of the year. And of course, Junior Nationals is already in there, slated for next August. Training Peaks projects weekly training hours and the TSS, otherwise known as the training stress score, which will allow me throughout any given week to visualize the ramp up of training load and ensure effective recovery phases for Emma. This type of view provides an annualized roadmap for both myself and Emma. It shows the progression towards nationals while protecting Emma's long-term development. Now that we've seen how Emma's year looks in Training Peaks, I want to step back for a moment and show how this connects to her long-term Olympic dreams. At 16, she's in the junior elite pathway. By 18 or 19, the goal is the international junior racing and a potential NCAA D1 scholarship for support and competition. Around 20, she's progressing into the U23 development teams and World Cups, building on those World Triathlon points. By 22, she's racing the World Triathlon Championship Series. By 24, 25, depending on the year, she could be in contention for the Olympic qualification. With 8 years down the road, every decision we make now, especially around staying healthy and building durability, it lays the foundation for that long-term path and those Olympic dreams. Now, back to the detailed training breakdown. Let's zoom in from the ATP to one mesocycle within the base phase. The structure for the mesocycles that I've deployed is a 4-week plan where 3 weeks are progressive loading and 1 week includes recovery. The weekly volume will progress week over week approximately 10%, with a 20% decrease during that recovery week, allowing for roughly a 10% increase in mesocycle to mesocycle as well. As far as the focus is concerned, for swimming, we're going to maintain a technical edge, building that aerobic base. On the bike, we're going to have a progressive indoor sessions and further FTP development, as well as that skill building. On the run, we're going to have some shorter controlled runs, again, especially during the early phase here, focusing on durability for that long term, because we need to rebuild that. Then with strength, we're going to have 1 to 2 weekly strength sessions. However, they will include hip, core, and lower leg stability, but also active recovery. This will give Emma the short and long-term visualization, which will also help her manage her time and priorities and alleviate any controllable stresses. All right, here we go. We have a mesocycle breakdown. Here in Training Peaks, we have an example of a 4-week mesocycle, which is actually covering the base phase right now. The objectives of this mesocycle are to do a progressive build. We're going to cautiously improve run durability. We're introducing a structured bike training regimen. And then we're also going to maintain swim strength with aerobic and technical focus. Weekly strength and active recovery sessions will ensue. As far as planned adaptations are concerned, we're going to improve aerobic capacity. We're going to have a stronger musculoskeletal durability, and we're going to create better efficiency across all 3 sports. Testing protocols will include swim time trials, a cycling FTP estimate, and gait analysis to monitor run mechanics. Here and I have an example of 1 week from the training block of that first mesocycle I showed you. This is week 2 and includes 2 swims, both tempo, since we're in the base phase. It includes 2 bike rides. One is skill-based and one interval-based on the trainer. We have 2 runs, both short, low-volume sessions, again, to account for the injury prevention and recovery. And then we also have 2 strength sessions. We have 1 general strength session with lots of core and stability built in, and we have an active recovery day of Emma's choice at the end of the week, which I let them choose again, either yoga or foam rolling or anything else of the sort. All sessions are scheduled with academics in mind, for example, lighter training during midterms and final exam weeks. Finally, here's a snapshot of one training day where I chose a swim test that will hopefully draw on 2 areas at once. So the swim test I chose was 5x200s. I chose that because the athlete is going to be racing very fast, and they're going to be doing these shorter distance type of races. This type of set really forces the athlete to dig deep and stay there for these within these fast 200s the entire time. They're going all out, and they're not relenting. So the warm up here though is has an active 1,000 yards with 400 swim, 300 kick, 200 pulling, and 100 yards of some drill work. Then they're going to go right into an activation set of 850s, descending 1 to 4, and then 100 easy just to get their heart rate down, but not too much. Then, of course, the main set itself is includes 5x200s at best pace while maintaining a steady state. So with 30 seconds rest between each 200, I want the athlete to establish an average pace per 100 and gauge so that we can gauge their future effort. From there, just a cool down with some aerobic kicking, pulling, and swim, and they should be good to go. The target for Emma here is, again, consistency in stroke rate as per 25 and pace per 50. These 200s, again, they're fast, they're painful, and I believe this will help build her speed and endurance further. Following the workout, once it's loaded, the athlete can add comments post-swim and Training Peaks, to which I, as the coach, can see that and review time and time again in comparing those results. My coaching approach for Emma emphasizes long-term development over short-term results. I have identified 3 critical success factors for Emma. The first is staying injury-free through cautious run progression and strong preventative work. Second, to build a cycling strength that balances her swim dominance. Third, leveraging her academic discipline and family support to keep training sustainable. This plan creates a pathway for Emma to pursue her goals while protecting her health and building the foundation for NCAA and elite level competition. Thank you for your time and attention. My goal for Emma is to balance ambition with sustainability, to help her stay healthy, live holistically, and progress toward her long-term dream of racing on the world stage. I appreciate the opportunity to share my approach, and I welcome your feedback.